Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I have a little nail art compilation inspired by some of my favorite summer treats. Some of these I do still have while others are more nostalgic from my childhood, but they all are super fun and colorful, which is exactly what I'm craving in the middle of summer. So without further ado, let me just show you the looks. So first up we have a classic rainbow snow cone using a couple of primary color jellies and an iridescent glitter. For this look I'm using Cirque's Lucky, Mango, and Cobalt jellies, and I'm basically doing a lazy vertical gradient with them, applying a stripe of each color. I grew up having snow cones every summer and I feel like I was so spoiled because my dad would go out and buy this giant block of ice and use this like handheld metal scraper to manually shave the ice. So these treats were such a labor of love and I would go crazy with the flavors. I mean, honestly, I love a classic lime, but just squeezing fresh lime makes it look clear. So, I wanted to do something colorful for the nail art. And as you saw, I just did a second coat here of the jelly, so I have the glitter sandwiched in between, but then I added another layer of the glitter just to give it more sparkle, like those little shaved ice crystals. Next up we have some classic watermelon tips, but I'm making mine neon and also using jellies again. This time I have Island Peas coconut cream, sorbet, and sour apple, which came out in one of last year's summer releases. And I'm actually starting with coconut cream because I want the white to really shine through. I feel like it'd be easier to layer the pink and green on top of it as opposed to doing the white on top of the pink or green. So I did my one coat of white and I'm carefully applying the pink farther away from my tip, kind of following along my smile line. I think it's best to do it in two thinner coats to really build up the color. Then I go in with my green to sort of outline along the tip for the rind. And again, since this is a jelly, you would want to do two coats to really build up the color and make it more noticeable. And it is so cute on its own here. It's kind of like this abstract watercolor watermelon look, but of course we have to add some seeds, and while you could just dot those in with a little toothpick, I took the easy way out and use Crack's mascara flakes. Adding this over any kind of pink is an instant watermelon mani, such a classic look. This next look is inspired by Horchata, which is a refreshing rice milk drink made with cinnamon and other ingredients depending on the recipe. But to keep it simple for the nail art, I did two coats of Crack's Vanille for that perfect milky base, and then one coat of Alchemy Lacquer's Copper Kaleidoscope for the cinnamon effect. This is a super dense sort of topper, not usually my favorite style when it comes to toppers, but I feel like it is so perfect for this drink, especially when you get to like the bottom of the glass where everything's sort of settled a little bit. But to make it a little bit more appealing with the milkiness, I did one more coat of Crack's Vanille. I really love how soft and elegant this is. Another yummy drink that I love is strawberries and cream Agua Fresca, so naturally we're going for some cute milky pink nails. I started with Crack's ridge filling base coat, which honestly you could maybe just build up on its own. It's already a milky pink, but I wanted to do some layering with some other polishes. So for my pink, I went in with Cirque's Bubblegum Skies from their Crelly Rainbow collection this past spring, and then topped that with Crack's Vanille. I started with just the one coat of vanilla to add that milky sort of quality, and I did like this combination. It's really soft, obviously, but it's still a little too pink almost, so to make it a little bit more milky, I ended up doing a second coat of vanilla, which I know makes it a very whitened pink look, but I love this combination so much. And while it is a perfect color match to the drink, I felt like it was still missing something, you know, to make it actual nail art. So I decided to paint some strawberries on top, or actually just one strawberry, using Olive strawberry and amaryllis for the inside detailing to make it look like it's a cut strawberry. And while you of course should cut the stems off of your strawberry before adding them to a drink, I included them for the nail art because I just really like the pop of green. I don't know how many of you are familiar or remember those Fimo fruit slices. I always thought they were so cute, but I always kind of hated the texture that comes with them. But if you don't think you can paint these little tiny fruits on your nails, I would look into those, or maybe just some stickers. Next up, I have a little bit of a nail fail actually. I really wanted to do this melted push pop look using some of Island P's recent bleached neons, but I really struggled with the technique. So for the polishes, I'm using Beach Bum and Unbothered, which are both very highly pigmented, and I dabbed the polishes on my nail and tried to use a little sandwich bag to sort of smoosh and blend them together. But it unfortunately ended up taking off some of the polish, especially in the middle of my nail, and I'm not sure why that happened. I've definitely done this technique before, but admittedly it has been a long time, so maybe I'm missing a step. Either way, it wasn't working out for me, so I figured I could just sort of blend it on my nail directly, pretty much doing what I did before with dabbing the polish, but again just lightly blending in the colors along the edges for that melted, swirly sort of look. And yeah, I think it just turned out okay, but I do love these colors together. And lastly, I have some citrus wedge French tips. So I went for a grapefruit on my thumb, which I achieved by doing a layer of hollow tacos in my peelings, which is a warm mid-tone sort of orange. Let that dry and then went in with a coat of Gloss and Found, which is the hot pink. And I feel like at first you can really see the pink, but after a minute or two, the colors sort of blend in together to create that perfect grapefruit shade. Then once that was dry, I used Cracks Cut on Coral for the rind, which is basically the same technique as the watermelon slice from before, but I did end up using a detail brush to go back in and sort of clean up the edges a little bit better. Not that this matters too much, but you do want to go in with a thin white line for that little membrane part and whatever other details. I loved how this turned out, so naturally I had to do the rest of my nails with other citrus fruits. So on my pinky, I went with a lemon slice using Cirque's Go Away. I repeated the grapefruit on my ring finger with hollow tacos in my peelings first. Then on my middle finger, I did a lime slice with starfruit jelly from Cirque. And on my pointer finger, I went with Island P's Tango for a classic orange. I'm only showing the first coat here, but this is what they look like on 2 coats. Honestly, just the Skittle tips alone are so cute, but I went in with the white again to add some detail, and I did an extra line on my smile line, which I don't entirely love, but it's still a cute look. So that wraps up my little summer treats nail art video. I really hope that you enjoyed these looks and got some inspiration. I know I do generally share a lot of like food or drink inspiration for my birth month videos, but I've been wanting to do a dedicated summer one for so long now, so I'm just really happy I got to do it, even though I didn't get around to doing all the ideas that I initially wanted. For example, I love something like a blueberry or lavender sort of lemonade, but for the nail art, I feel like it would just be a little bit too simple or basic, kind of similar to the strawberries and cream Agua Fresca, where it's just kind of like a pastel jelly base and then maybe like, you know, some blueberry nail art or a little lavender sprig, which don't get me wrong, is still gonna be cute, but I just thought it would have been more of the same style, if that makes sense. And so I wanted to kind of have like different techniques for this video. And speaking of drinks, I also really just love like a nice glass of iced tea, and I realized that I don't have a single iced tea colored polish, especially not a jelly, which I feel like would be perfect for that glassy sort of look. But it makes sense because I feel like it also could be a pruggly color and maybe not the most flattering, especially for like a sheer jelly formula. But I don't know, I'm also kind of surprised we haven't come across a shade like that yet. I do remember saying this a couple of years ago now, back when Cirque did their Jarritos this collab because one of their flavors is tamarind, and I feel like that would have been so unique to have as a jelly, but I completely understand them not doing it because it's not really a cute nail color at the same time. So, you know, hopefully we'll see that soon. I feel like it could be a hit for iced tea lovers or just Pruggly lovers in general. But anyway, let me know some of your favorite summer treats down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!